Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Malakay, baby girl. I'm having some technical dang difficulties today, but we're gonna get through this. I haven't slept because I had insomnia last night, which is always wonderful. I love it. I want to show you a clip from something very special to me. I got a cameo from my favorite YouTuber, Peter Mon. And I don't know if you guys know who he is, but I absolutely adore him. He inspires me a lot. Every day that I watch his channel, it inspires me to keep on going with mine, to keep trying, and to keep working really hard. And his sobriety inspires me because I am sober myself. You know when you would really connect with someone if you knew them, you know? So it's like I see him and I just connect on such a level. Hard to explain, but I love you, Peter, and I'm very, very grateful for your cameo to me. It was way longer than I thought it would be, and I'm just like, I cried, I laughed, I was so just.
Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back! Of course I'm back! I'm not going anywhere, Melody! Peace! Peekaboo! Mel, this is for you because Melanie is YouTube famous now. The album, Mel, the Spooky YouTuber Edition.
I don't know if it's because I don't have any family really or what, but I feel such a connection, and then I get like so excited about it. Anyways, let's get to the video, for God's sake. Listening to Peter talk about how proud he is of his sobriety helps me to remember to be proud of my own sobriety. I see like an innocence in Peter. You don't see an evil person in him. You don't see somebody that wants to maliciously do harm to others. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody that's just trying to have a good time on YouTube like the rest of us are that create videos. At least that's what I'm here for. I mean, I do this because this is so much fun to me. This is great. This is love. I feel so good when I come on camera and talk to you guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you get it, but I'm sure Peter gets it. Whatever. Today's video is on story times about possessions. This first video is going to kind of set the tone. It's going to set the mood, right? It's going to make you understand what we are getting into in this video, okay? This is my top 15 possession TikToks that I could find on TikTok. I found some really, really good stories. And why is everything falling over my dang desk? I swear to God. You know, I don't like. Sometimes I wonder, am I possessed? Am I possessed? Do you think? Sometimes I feel like I'm just a little unhinged. I would like to wear the Versace perfume. Versace, as my fiance calls it. My Versace. I love it. Check out the Versace. Alright, Mel, get to the video. ADD is kicking in hard.
As someone who has real deal witnessed a real life possession before, there are a few things I can tell you about it. For one, y'all know how in the movies, whenever someone gets possessed, they look like this or like distorted as fuck, like their eyes are sockets and their mouth is huge, like really scary shit. I'm gonna tell y'all right now that that doesn't happen. Like physical appearance changes due to the possession doesn't happen. As the only case for an appearance change here would be if you're really depressed, because that's what possession does to you. It can make you feel really, really depressed. And in that case, you lose sight of who you are, like you stop taking care of yourself. That's you. Yes, it's because of the possession, but it's not directly because of it. Another thing here is that not everyone who gets possessed starts speaking a different language. You can definitely end up speaking a different language if you're possessed by a spirit or a demon that speaks a different language, but that's not always the case, although I have seen that happen before. The next thing is having superpowers like crawling up walls and shit doesn't happen. It is possible that the person who is possessed would become stronger due to the spirits working through them pretty much, but in any other case in which walking up walls, I don't fucking know, flying, all that stuff, like it really doesn't happen like that. Unless again, the spirit is extremely strong to the point in which shit goes down. But in that case, it's really just that, in the case that they just become a lot physically stronger, but that's about it. Something else that happens when it comes to someone being possessed is that they become extremely tired, like sleeping all the fucking time. Y'all know how in like horror movies, the person who's usually possessed is probably sleeping 10 out of 10 times because they're extremely tired in the film? That's true. They definitely do feel really tired and drained because of the spirit taking over their body and their essence, their energy. Like, keep in mind that if a spirit is possessing somebody, it's literally taking up their energy. Like, it's eating them alive from the inside out. So sleeping is definitely common. And the next thing is also finding bruises and scars all over your body. That's another thing that definitely does happen here. In the movies, they usually portray that the person who is possessed eventually ends up having like a bunch of scars and like bruises all over their body. It's because the spirit is trying to weaken them. The reason for this is because when the host is physically weaker, the spirit feels like it would be strong enough to control that person. Thus why they're feeling extremely tired, and they're also finding all those marks all over them. In the movies, they show the people who are possessed usually eat like fucking pigs, always starving, looking for something else to eat, things like that. I will say that that's kind of biased, like it really depends on the person. But in my case, the person didn't really want to eat that often unless they were under possession, which was fucking scary. Imagine only knowing that that person wants to eat whenever that spirit kicks in, like, bitch, I'm hungry now, let's go eat. Like, absolutely not. It's ridiculous. But that overindulgence of food definitely is real, but it definitely depends on the person. Oh, and holy water does work. It is their worst nightmare. Debunked.
Real footage of Janet Hodgson's possession. Ed and Lorraine Warren were the ones that handled this case, where on camera, even to the media, went into like demon mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, her voice changed. She even held water in her mouth, and the demon still spoke through her. Is that not crazy? Tell me what you think, though, in the comments about this story.
This is real footage of Janet Hodgson levitating.
Oh my God. The levitation of those girls. They would levitate.
I think people thought at first that I was doing it deliberately. So tests were done.
Mr. Groves filled Janet's mouth up with water so she couldn't speak, yet still the demonic voice came out of her mouth. Here is the real recording.
Ed, no. No, hold your leg on me on bed. No, give me. No, I don't want to. No.
Do you think there's anyone there just now?
Yeah, I do.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that, Janet?
Pardon? Stuart. Sam.
No one could fake something like that. They'd have to be a very good 11-year-old actor.
Was Janet faking it, or was she really possessed by a demon?
Bobby Mackey's. Now, Zach Bagans has been there, and there's a portal to hell there. There's such a crazy lore with Bobby Mackey's. There was a possession. They got on video of an employee that worked there. I mean, it used to be a slaughterhouse. Bobby Mackey's has a huge, long, haunted, devilish, demon history, I swear. Somebody had to have done something to open a portal there, and these videos are going to explain. I don't know if there's any non-believers on my channel that don't quite believe in exorcisms or don't quite believe in demonic possessions. Without good, there cannot be evil, and without evil, there cannot be good. If there's good in this world, then there's evil in this world.
Seen a ghost in real life?
I've seen some weird shit, yeah. Probably, and I told this one on the other podcast too, but it's still, to this day, I don't know what the fuck, how the fuck I don't know how that happened, but there's a place, I used to work in Ohio, and there's a place on the border of Ohio and Kentucky. There's this place called Bobby Mackey's. Okay. It's a beer joint. It's an old ass beer joint.
Okay.
But the like owner of it, that was like in the like 1800s, like killed a bunch of people, sacrificed a bunch of people in this little limestone cavern thing in the basement. They call it the portal to hell. Okay.
Oh,
so like not only is it a beer joint, but you can like go and see like a ghost tour. Like,
hey, that's terrifying.
It's
already, that's fucking terrifying.
And like
he's just throwing people in a limestone own pets?
Yeah, and just sacrificing them and shit, cutting their heads, like all kinds of weird shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. And like,
I hate this on Netflix.
There's some, they've done documentaries on the place, and there's this one guy, he was basically like a groundskeeper to the place, and he lived in the attic, and he went like crazy insane, like stuff just happened to him because he'd be there when no one else was there. But I remember I went there one night with a lovely young lady, and I'm in line trying to get in, and there just happens to be this dude in a cowboy hat I start kicking up conversation with because he's the only one wearing a cowboy hat besides myself. So I asked him where he's from. Well, he's from like my hometown, like knows the same people. I don't know who he is, but I know he knows the same people that I know. So I was like, oh shit, cool. So we're just drinking beer, having a grand old time, and then we all take that ghost tour later. Well, we go down in that basement, and they got that cavern blocked off with barricades, and you can look over it, and it's not a very big drop from the actual ground level. It's maybe 5 foot, but it's a little hole in the ground, and he's like drunk, and he like taps me and goes, yo, dare me to scale that fucking railing and jump down in there? And I said, there's not a man in your family if you don't fucking do that right now.
Now, well, no, you won't. I'll settle down. No, you're gonna leave. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I ain't going nowhere. Yes, you are. I'll never leave. You understand me? No, I understand what you're saying. You understand? But you cannot. You understand me? You're leaving. You hear me? Because I'm going to help Carl. I'm going to help Carl to live a life of peace. Carl's not worth. Yes, he is. He's not worth the lives it can cost. Yes, he is. No, yes, he is. You understand me? He's not worth it. Now, it's time for you to leave. You understand? You understand, Charlie? Talk to me. Come on. Carl. Stop, Carl. Carl. Come on. Now leave him alone. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Yeah. Larry? Yeah. Leave him. Leave him, Charlie. Leave him. Yeah. Fuck you! Leave him. Leave him, Charlie. Fuck everybody! Leave him, Charlie. Just fuck everybody! Leave him, Charlie. He's fine! Leave him, Charlie. He's fine, man of God. Leave him. We've been here for 1,000 fucking years. Leave him. We're gonna stay here. I don't care. You think Carl's worth this whole fucking town? Leave him. Do you think?
These are the ones that I can assure you are not faked. I don't believe so anyway. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if you found out otherwise. But I truly feel the energy and everything. I just really feel that the both of these two that I've just shown are fully real. It's no longer about believing at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's about witnessing what you're seeing with your own two eyes, okay? Now, if you're looking at it with your own two eyes and still not believing, you got to open your mind up and let yourself understand that sometimes things are not what they seem. Gypsy Rose. This is to just show you the intense evil that immersed this place, Bobby Mackey's. She also mentions her podcast in this video, so please check her out. It's Lunatic Soup Podcast. So please go and check her videos out. She goes over this whole lore in depth. Okay, so if you really want to understand it, check her podcast out.
Want to hear an EVP from the most haunted bar in America? This is the Bobby Mackey Bar in Wilder, Kentucky. This bar used to be a slaughterhouse, and during that time, they put a well in the center to dump all of the animal byproduct and things they weren't using down it. When the slaughterhouse shut down, it turned into an abandoned warehouse that a satanic cult took over. Many believed that the satanic cult would perform rituals and sacrifices of animal and possibly human nature, and they would dump it down this well. After a while, the mob took over from the satanic cult, then it turned into a music hall, and then now it's known as Bobby Mackey's Bar. But that well in the bottom is known as Hell's Gate. What I'm about to show you is an EVP session that my co-host's mother-in-law did with the Paranormal Investigators of New England. She gave us this footage to share with you all exclusively, so get ready.
What do you want to say? I don't?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It did, didn't it? It sounded like it said I don't.
You don't want to talk about it.
Are you in the well room? Is it a wishing well?
Kind of like
It did sound like
Is there a wishing well?
Yeah, the well's in there. You guys want to go in there?
Is it called the wishing well?
No,
It's just the well?
it's down the...
Is that Hell's Gate?
If you want to hear more about Bobby Mackey's Bar, check out our latest episode on Lunatic Soup Podcast. We go into the full history of the bar, what happened, what kind of spirits we think are still looming there, and some more stories from the Paranormal Investigators of New England.
Possessions. They're not made up. They're not just for fun. They're not just to scare you. They're real. And these are real people that are going through this stuff. This video here is from 1906. She spoke languages she didn't even know. Superhuman strength. I mean, this demon literally destroyed this young girl's life in one day. I mean, imagine the therapy that she's going to have to pay for. Look at this trauma on top of everything else. She's going to have trauma. This poor gal.
Trauma, generational trauma, trauma. Rage and trauma, PTSD, trauma, post.
No one's going to pay for the therapy, I bet either.
In 1906, a South African girl began terrifying her family after one fateful night when she was allegedly possessed by a demonic entity. Now, no one knows just what happened that night, but the next day she began to exhibit superhuman strength and throwing nuns around the room with a simple flick of her wrist while making inhuman noises. Clara would speak in languages she was not known to have any knowledge of, and after a 2-day exorcism where she floated several feet in the air and attempted to strangle the priest, she was finally freed from the demon. Let's just hope that the demon died and didn't get passed along to anyone else.
Now this movie, whoa, girl. This movie on Netflix had me on my toes as well. The Deliverance, oh my goodness. You want to see a movie that's not only going to have you in your emotions, crying, laughing, really feeling for these characters. I had related to the mom. I related to her so much and all that she was going through and all that she was struggling with. And nobody really knows what another person goes through until we're in their shoes, right? So, when we are all going through things, we are all fighting through things in life, we have to remember that we don't know the perspective of the next person in their shoes, how they're looking at the situation. So we have to be mindful and demure.
Very demure, very mindful
about how we are with one another. If we just adapted a way of understanding and loving one another, we wouldn't have to sit there and have all of this negativity all the time and hatreds towards another, where we're making videos bashing one another instead of making videos to uplift one another and help one another grow as people, as fellow YouTubers. Sometimes this world is filled with so much closed-mindedness and so much unwillingness to learn and grow, and that's what we're here for. We are here on this earth to learn and grow from one another and be taught life lessons and be guided to experience new things and different things in each time, to learn something new and take something new on with us as we keep growing throughout life. That's what this life is about. Using your gifts for the good, and also learn and grow with one another and help your fellow man and be a decent person. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Bottom line. I'm sorry, I don't know why I went on that rant. I apologize. Oh, the movie, yes. But please check it out. It is a great movie. The Deliverance on Netflix. Back to you, Steve.
Bro, so I watched The Deliverance last night, directed by Lee Daniels. And when I tell you that shit had my mouth to the motherfucking floor, honey. I don't even like watching demonic movies like that, because with certain stuff like that, you really have to watch what you watch, because you just may never know what could happen. Especially with finding out that the story was based on a true story is crazy. And so I had to do my own little research about this story. Rest in peace to Latoya Emmons, and this is her story, her and her family's story. So her and her family moved into this house back in 2011. That's what got me, y'all. 2011? And her son got possessed by this demon. I also forgot to mention that this happened in Gary, Indiana. And they lived in that house for a whole year until they were able to, do what they have to do to defeat the demon or whatever. DCFF was involved, the police was involved. Like, I really want to know everybody else's side of the story that happened with this. And is it kind of weird that I want to hear the kids' side of the story? Where are they now? I really want to know. Like, I just got so many questions. Like, how do they feel? What is still going through their mind till this day? Like, I really want to know. But the movie was good. Y'all should really check it out.
Lorraine is very right, of course. I mean, why would I even question it? Mind you, she's a demonologist, and she is the one for the job. They're probably going to accept and achieve their intended goal, right? I mean, here's what Ed and Lorraine say, but what are your gifts? Do you have any gifts that you would like to share in the comments below? I started realizing that I was a psychic medium at a very young age when I would see spirits and hear them talking to me, and I literally was like scared out of my wits, and I would tell my parents, and they would always be like, okay, you guys don't understand. This is freaking me out. This is just happening to me. You know what I mean? It's just...
When you challenge the demonic, it doesn't act at that particular given time. It waits until you are the most vulnerable.
But he made a fatal mistake. He screamed at these devils, "Take me out. Leave my little buddy alone."
Challenge the demonic.
I had to add this video because I do believe there is some level of mind control within Hollywood. Before you come for me, before you think I'm a conspiracist, don't come for me for that. They have to maintain a certain narrative. They can only say so much.
That's classified.
Yada, yada, yada. And they're constantly being controlled on how they can act, how they can be. I mean, this is a little extreme. This seems a little bit robotic-like and things like that. She is a clone. They're just straight up with us. You know what I'm saying? You never know with our government.
No. I hate humans. Humans I hate. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the Khaled.
Go with your gut feelings, always. I used to get sleep paralysis really bad. trying so hard just to move your toe. Then it's like you see this dark figure. It's always like in the corner of the room. And then all of a sudden when you open your eyes, it like darts towards you, or at least that was my experience. It would hover over me. And then all of a sudden I would like close my eyes real hard and start to think about something else, or at least try to, and open my eyes and they would be gone. I mean, the fear that it would cause in me would just consume me. And I do believe that demons and stuff like that, or entities, will attach themselves to certain items. So it's like, you have to understand that when you go into a home and they explain to you that their home is haunted or whatever, you then have to go through and do some blessings, make sure that you are fully protecting yourself before you leave that home. You had taken the shirt home, you know what I'm saying?
Demons can attach themselves to objects. Listen to this story.
Well, we had gone to go visit someone, and when we were coming back, we didn't notice that a piece of their clothing came home with us, being ready for bed. My husband was gone by like 4. All of a sudden, I felt so much fear. And I started hearing heavy footsteps, but with a clanking. It's like walking and circling around our room. And I can't move. It's sleep paralysis. My eyes are open. Like I turn my eyes to the side of the bed, and I find this really tall shadow right next to my bed. And I'm like trying to say the name of Jesus. And as soon as I was able to say Jesus, that thing disappeared and I fell asleep. But when I get up the next day, as I'm making my bed, wrapped in my sheets, I find a t-shirt. It belonged to the person we had visited. I like call and I'm like, hey, you said, that you experienced sleep paralysis. Can you please tell me what you experienced when you experienced this? And the minute they're like, I hear these very heavy footsteps, I was like,
Although if you believe Jesus has power over demons, and be careful what you bring in your home.
This friend decided to leave all of her friends early while they were out. They said that all of a sudden they were at a club. She hadn't had anything to drink, so they say, or any illicit drugs or anything like that. She needed to go. She needed to go to the bathroom or whatever the case was. But she left in the middle of their clubbing experience. They didn't see her again. They were clueless as to where she would have gone. I mean, they just thought she had gone to the bathroom. But here she had gone, and then she took a video of herself doing some pretty off-the-wall things, I should say. And then the faces on top of it were like, okay. Time for the straight jacket. Straight jacket. You remember that show? You guys ever seen that Oddities show? I used to love that show.
Иду домой на часах 1:30. Но я же хрупкая девушка. Я же такая беззащитная. Что идет сзади меня? Мне страшно, но на самом деле я жду, чтобы ко мне кто-то подошел. Потому что бояться буду не я. Бояться будут меня. И моя жажда мести. Ведь этот город. Ну что, маньяки, вы готовы поиграть со мной? Иду домой на часах 1:30. Но я же хрупкая девушка. Я же такая беззащитная. Что идет сзади меня? Мне страшно, но на самом деле я жду, чтобы ко мне кто-то подошел. Потому что бояться буду не я. Бояться будут меня. И моя жажда мести. Ведь этот город. Ну что, маньяки, вы готовы поиграть со мной?
like and subscribe on the video. I appreciate all of you that have already. I really do. And please hit the bell icon so you always get notified when I post a video. And just keep rocking with me. Things will keep getting better. I have great ideas coming, and I know that doesn't do me any good right now, but you will see. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. So just if you're digging the content for now, please like and subscribe. It helps push me through the algorithm so that more people see my videos. And then with that being said, it's a struggle for us right now, really, really bad to even buy food. So I am having a hard time getting the equipment right now. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. Sorry, that's not what I was going for. I just want you guys to know I really am passionate about making good content for you, and I'm so excited. So excited. My fiance does drawings. If you are interested, please feel free to contact my Instagram, which will be in the description below. You can DM me on there or whatever, or you can contact me through my email will be linked in the description below as well. Getting very good at doing tattoos. He did all of mine basically. But anyways, here is a drawing that he did for me because I love Michael Myers, and I just think you guys are going to shit your pants when you see this. Do you see how wonderful that is? That is an amazing drawing.
This person is possessed in the hospital and is no longer in control. This woman is possessed by a demon and is shouting incomprehensible things. It might be another language from elsewhere. I want to warn you, I can only protect my subscribers who have commented, shared, and watched the video until the end. This boy gets possessed live, and thanks to his camera, we were able to see what happened, and it's creepy.
Watch the power that comes with being possessed. They get superhuman strength. It's like you got to bring some kind of weapon in with you if you go to do an exorcism. Someone that's possessed. When someone is possessed, they are out of control. Like they're on angel dust or something like that, you know. Medical professionals say that this child did, in fact, crawl up the wall backwards, which they said is physically impossible. Now, how in the world do you believe that happened if he wasn't completely invaded by whatever spirit, entity, demon, whatever it was? He was literally consumed by it entirely. Meaning, when he comes out of this, he probably won't even remember what he was doing. My mom just went through something. She just had some kind of episode where she went to the hospital, and that's why my videos have been a little bit spaced out too, so I can have the time to be there for her. Because she was having muscle spasms, but it was almost like she was going through like dementia. She wasn't remembering anything. She wasn't remembering what day it was. I mean, it was just insane. So I've been really wrapped up in that, trying to keep up with that. So I feel like I'm bitching a lot in this video. I'm just shut the fuck up. Shit.
The Possessed Boy Who Walked Up the Wall Backwards Part 3. Now we know that Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, this was the house that he bought from that story.
Because the grandmother was holding onto his hand, it was possible to walk up the wall backwards. However, I spoke with an engineering professor from Penn State who, using a free body diagram, looked at the forces involved. Depending on the angle, it would require the grandma to exert over 200 newtons of force. However, a study showed that females' maximum standing push force is only 140 newtons. So this points to the supernatural nature of this.
Yeah,
another witness, registered nurse Willie Lee Walker, confirmed he walked up the wall, flipped over her.
Casting the demons out of this girl. I don't know about her psychiatric evaluation or if she even had one. you never want to confuse possession with any kind of mental disorder. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to make sure that you are double checking to make sure for sure that you're dealing with a possession instead of dealing with a mental disorder, because you don't want to try something that would traumatize someone with mental disorder even more when you're trying to do an exorcism. But there are key signs that you would look for in that instance to find out what you should be seeing in somebody that's actually possessed or in somebody that's actually mentally disturbed.
Casting a lot of demons out of my sister.
Spirits of Moloch, come out in Jesus' name.
This young woman was watching a video recorded of the church choir. And then she noticed something in the crowd as she was panning around. And it's a little bit creepy.
You are creepy as shit.
If I were an animal, my hair would be standing up. I'm telling you right now. And I would be hissing my ass off. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I can see auras, okay? And I remember the first time that someone saw my aura was actually when I met the high priestess. And she told me that my aura was very bright and beautiful, and that I had a strong power within me that I needed to learn how to work with, basically, or I could get myself into a lot of trouble if I continued down the path of trying to use my energies and things like that. So, I mean, I got really scared there for a bit, and I didn't quite know what that meant. But then I started to really start working with myself. It's not like powers, like superpowers, like you're fucking Superman or something. But I'm saying when I do one of my chants or my rituals or whatever the case, certain things happen that let me know that what I did meant something or was used in a certain way or whatever the case may be. No matter what, though, I know that what I'm putting out there is of light and love. Okay, harm none. If I see a demon in someone, though, they're very dark. Very, very dark. They're very low vibrational and they're extremely vulnerable at that. That's what the entities prey on. They prey on vulnerable people that are at their lowest vibration in life. I try to really work on keeping a high vibration. I don't want to get into that low vibrational mode because that only is going to keep me in this depression, stuck in this world of hatred and self-hatred, and it's just a mess. It's horrible. It's horrible to go through, and I never, ever want to be there again. I'm so happy with how far I've come in the years since I was an addict. So bad that I couldn't keep a place to live, that now I'm doing this, and I'm very grateful. How did we get to this part? Why do I keep doing this? I'm sorry. Okay.
He was at church recording the choir when he sees this. A woman by the name Mariana explains that her father has sent her a video watching the church choir, and that while watching the video, she noticed something straight out of a nightmare. The people as he pans the camera. A pale, lifeless figure can be seen watching him. No one seems to notice it and continue their ceremony. as if they're unable to see it. The disturbing videos posted onto Mariana's TikTok page. After the discovery, neither her or her father have any idea, or what this thing could be.
I have passed away 3 times in my life. I am not proud of that. There was only one time that it wasn't because of my addiction. The funny thing is the one time that it wasn't because of my addiction was the one time that I was literally accused of that every time someone new walked into my room in the ICU. But I digress. The last time, though, I was going septic, okay? And I was really sick. And then after I was in the hospital, I had developed pneumonia. I woke up and I remember not even realizing what was going on, and I tried to lift my hand, and then I felt somebody slam my hand back down on the bed, and then I felt something really warm go up to my head, and I knew that they had put something in my IV, I guess, to knock me back out. I guess they had tried to take me off of the life support a couple of times, and I wasn't coming back to breathing on my own. And I remember waking up and hearing something about the doctor telling my parents that they needed to make some kind of decision. And I'm thinking in my head, ain't nobody making no damn decision. I'm here. I am here right now. Look at me. Hey.
Dude, I'm right here.
Right there.
Hello. Look at me. Hey. But I couldn't move. So finally my mom realized that I had opened my eye, okay? And of course she was, oh my God, Mel, you're awake, okay? Well, I realized I had the tube in my throat at that point, and I just started crying. All of a sudden, it was like I guess I fell asleep. I don't know if this was just a nightmare or whatever, but it was like everything. There was this one instance, and it just kept playing over and over like Groundhog Day. It just kept repeating itself. The same sentences, the same nurse, doctors, all of it happening over and over. And I thought, okay, great. I died, and now I got to live this shit for eternity. What the fuck? I thought I was fucked. I really did. I was like, can't even KYS when you've already DID'd. And then I watched some kind of documentary about things that happen to people that have near-death experiences. Now, I didn't see a light or anything, but I did have that experience of things continuously repeating themselves over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden I woke up and the tube was out of my throat, and I had to relearn how to swallow by myself and everything. It was a terrible, terrible experience. And I have gone through and survived 3 times of being intubated on life support. And I'm very grateful to be here today. I don't know quite what my purpose is. Maybe it's doing this, making these videos in hopes that I touch someone's heart, or I make someone laugh that's having a bad day, or whatever it might be. I just hope that it's for the greater good of everybody that watches. I love you guys so much, and I feel like I have to have a purpose if that's happened to me that many times. And I don't believe God's going to keep giving me chance after chance. So it's up to me to figure it out. And I believe that this is where I'm supposed to be going. I keep seeing 222 and 444, and I guess that's supposed to be me on the right path. So I'm just really hoping that is the case. And I hope everything stays stable for a while. And I'm sorry I keep going on these rants. I guess I need some therapy today, you guys. I'll pay you later. You got Venmo? I'll catch you the second Tuesday of next week. How about that? Okay, sounds good. All right.
Here are some signs to look for when people have demons attached to them. Number 1, they have addictive personality. They drink a lot of alcohol, like on a daily basis, or maybe every other day, but they drink a lot. They smoke a lot of green shit. They're constantly smoking, like a chain smoker, okay? But they smoking, pot, constantly. They can't be alone. They want to be around people. They're going to start having all these fancy, sexual thoughts about you. If you're kind of dating them and you're not sleeping with them yet. See, these type of people that have demons attached to them, they're looking for people that are light workers. Okay, they want to procreate with them. But you guys got to pay attention to people's DNA. Not everyone you see on this planet is who you think they are. Okay, there are many different souls in here, and we got to pay attention, guys. We have to pay attention to who we're sleeping with and who we're dating. If you're dating a guy and he's drinking a shitload of alcohol, his vibration is very low, and demons love low vibrational people. Okay, it's very easy for a demon to slip into a person's body that's drinking alcohol. So let me ask you a question. Have you noticed anything with these people lately? Because I'm noticing a lot of things on people, and you know what? I could see it on them.
This poor little girl, oh my god. She's apparently possessed. She's been possessed for months. She looks horrible. My heart breaks for her. I don't know if this story is true. It's alleged, but if this poor girl really is existing right now after possession, my heart breaks for her.
Padre nuestro.
The horror nerd in me does not want this to be fake, but this better be fucking fake.
Bonus video. Yeah, bonus fucking video. God, I love to get down. I relate to this story completely. I was in a very, very abusive marriage for years. I too believe in the energies of our world. They do exist. I do believe that that our bodies are just a host for our energy, which is our soul. I believe that after we pass, that our energies go off into the atmosphere until they find another host. I choose what makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Some of the shit just is like, okay, I can't ride with that. I just can't. But I digress. That's a whole different video. Spiritually, though, I do believe there is a God. It's just not my place to depict exactly what that is. God, to me, is a verb, an action. It's love. I believe that I can connect with the other side, but I do believe that she, right here, must have had some residuals coming back to her, because it doesn't seem like they're very happy with this bitch. But here's part 1 of that video.
So during my time as a witch, before Jesus saved me, I experienced things that, number 1, you would never believe in a million years, or number 2, you believe wholeheartedly because you've experienced something similar. I'm going to tell you guys about one of those things today. I might turn this into a series, but today we'll just start with this one. When I was around 13 years old, I got out of the church. I had grown up in the Brethren Church. The church that I went to was very legalistic, very ritualistic, very religious. And by 13 years old, my parents allowed me to have the choice to go or not, and I said no. I said, that cannot be what God is like, and if it is, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm out. At the same time, I got into a very abusive relationship that lasted for about 7 years. It was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, sexually, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm sure I said one of those twice. It was a lot. Like I said, that lasted for 7 years, and at the end of it, I had come to the end of myself. I had lost all identity. I had lost any bit of self-worth that I ever had. I just truly felt absolutely worthless, unlovable, and without identity. Now, for this all to make sense, I have to give you a little bit of back information. My grandmother, my whole life, spoke a word curse over me that I would one day become a witch, that I had power, that I shouldn't avoid it, that I shouldn't be scared of it, and that I should just embrace it. These things were true. I experienced a lot of things my whole life that nobody else did. I saw things, I heard things, I felt things that nobody else did, and I could never put a name on it until I was 15 years old and took on the identity of a witch for myself. At 15, I got my first spell book and I dove very deep into the craft, searching for an identity after a relationship that left me feeling like I had none. So we're gonna fast forward about 7-8 years. I'm a younger adult. I am living out of my parents' house now. I have a house of my own and I have a roommate. My roommate at the time was an amazing Christian woman. She still is. I still love her so much. That was her little shout out. But I was so far from Jesus. I was so far from God. And so when we were living in this house, I was experiencing the deepest, darkest demonic torment that you could physically imagine. I mean, I could truly only fathom these things in the depths of hell, and I was living in it every day. I was seeing things and hearing things. I was feeling like I was going insane. I would be looking around like this every once in a while. My friends would be like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "You didn't see that?" I was being led by spirit guides at the time that were telling me to do awful things and that started to be really mean and hateful, and they weren't like that when I started to channel them, and so I started to question. I would be woken up every single night by demonic torment, either one of two things. Number one, sleep paralysis, or number two, a panic attack. And this happened every single night for a year and a half at 3 a.m. I'm sure I'm not the first person that you've heard say that. And there is a reason for that. 3 a.m. mocks the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so there was one night that I woke up, 3 a.m. Not unusual for me. Like I said, this happens every night, and I was having a panic attack. And I was so used to it at this point that I was just kind of sitting there. I learned to just sit in it, and, you know, there was nothing I could do but just sit in it and work through it. And my phone rang, and I was like, what the heck is going on? My roommate's calling me. Now, like I said, it's typical for me to be awake, but for her to be awake is very unusual. So I answer the phone, and I'm like, what are you doing awake? And she said, you need to come in here right now. I'm like, are you good? Are we good? What's going on? Why are you awake? Why do you need me to come into your room? She said, I need you to come in here right now. There is somebody in my room. And so I'm like, there's somebody in your room, in my house. You're calling me on the phone. What is going on? Like, I was so confused. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. You're calling me. There's somebody standing in your room. What is going on? So I'm like sprinting to her room, like having a panic attack already. I'm panicked. I am like full of anxiety. I'm full of fear. I am literally drenched in demonic spirits, and I'm running to her room. As soon as I open the door, I remember seeing her face, and I will never be able to unsee it. I will never forget what it looked like. I had never seen her face that pale. I had never seen her look so terrified in her life, and I had never seen somebody look at me as if I were not standing there and they were just looking right through me. As soon as I walked in the door and she saw me, her head went like this. She told me that the man that was standing in her room, the demon that was standing in her room, fled when I walked in the room. When I cracked the door open and she saw me, she saw the demon go from one part of her room out the window on the other side of the room. I asked God why this was later on in my walk, and the thing that he told me shook me to my core. I said, God, why did that happen? All those years ago, I remember being in that room, and I remember her being so terrified and the look that she gave me, and then the demon just left. Like, why did that happen? And he told me that demon no longer needed to be in her room when you entered it. And if that doesn't show you what kind of demonic spirits were attached to me, what kind of spiritual authority the demonic spirits that were on me had, that demonic spirit that was in her room didn't need to be there if I was there. I remember staying up with her that night for a little bit and just like sitting in her room with her and being like, nothing's here. Like, I didn't see anything. You're safe. We're okay. And meanwhile, she knew that I was bringing all kinds of stuff into our home. I mean, my home, in the middle of our living room, I had a case, like a Chester drawer full of crystals and tarot cards and spell books and Ouija material and witchcraft paraphernalia just like displayed in our living room. She knew as a Christian that I was bringing things into that home. She just didn't know how to handle all of the demonic forces that were surrounding us because of the things that I was doing. And honestly, neither did I. It was literally the next day that she called my friend Alexa, who was her friend at the time as well, and now my best friend, the woman who led me to the Lord, and she told her about what happened. So that day, Alexa drove 30 minutes to our house. Donna and Alexa had anointing oil, they had their Bibles, and they were ready to war. Now, keep in mind, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life, okay? Through the whole entire time I was at church, the whole time I had been a witch at that point, 7-8 years, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. These women rain down on hell. They plead the blood over every inch of that house. They anoint every inch of that house. They read scripture, Psalm 91, over every inch of that house. They casted and commanded every single demon that was holding space in that house to go in the name of Jesus. They opened doors, opened windows, and with every single breath they took, the demon in that house was taking its last. At least its last breath in that house. This was a pivotal point in my life because I saw how the name of Jesus made demons flee. I saw how demons were scared of the name of Jesus, and I saw how they obeyed. I saw how they surrendered to his authority. And after seeing that, I wanted to know the man that was behind that name. Little did I know that man was going to change my life. But not yet. But not yet. Because I hadn't learned yet. It wasn't a few days later, girlfriend, that I was sitting on my couch meditating and had a demonic encounter. Should I make a part 2? Let me know. Ashley, what was it like to see a demon in real life? Let me tell you. I don't have too much time, so I'm not going to go into the backstory about how I used to be an ex-white witch and then Jesus came in and saved me, but if you want to hear that story, it is pinned on my page. So let's talk about it. So at this point in my life, I had moved out of my parents' house. I was probably 21. I was living in a home with roommates, and every single day I had a way to channel my higher being, to open my third eye, to align my chakras and reach the highest consciousness, to become my own goddess. I had rituals that I would do every single day. And this day it happened to be a form of transcendental meditation. Now, if you don't know what that is, I would recommend looking it up, but it is witchcraft. I had already been experiencing a million other things that were telling me that what I was doing should be red flags, but because I was so deceived, I didn't see it. This was only a couple days after my roommate had a demonic encounter as a demon literally visited her room at 3 a.m. She calls me frantic, scared for her life, and I had to run in her room. Not suspicious at all. So I'm sitting in my living room, okay? I'm listening to chakra aligning music. I have all of my items and paraphernalia of witchcraft spread out in front of me. I had a case, a Chester drawer in my living room of all the things you could need as a witch, think of as a new ager. Crystals, tarot cards, manifestation things, spell books, Ouija board paraphernalia. I had everything you could think of. So I'm about to start channeling. I'm about to start going into the transcendental meditation. I'm about to start the ritual to awaken my inner goddess, to channel my spirit guides, to open further my third eye and become more conscious and aware. I contorted my body into a yoga pose, unknowingly yoking myself with a Hindu god. And as I sat there, listening to chakra aligning music, going into a transcendental state of meditation, I was all of a sudden able to see in the physical realm my living room with my eyes closed. With my eyes closed, sitting, I was able to see my TV. I was able to see my table. I was able to see the witchcraft that I had sitting out. I was able to see the couch on the other side of the room. I was able to see everything as if I was opening my eyes and looking at it all in front of me. My eyes, again, were closed. Not only was I able to see the physical with my eyes closed, I was now starting to see this spiritual. I remember seeing everything and noticing that my eyes were closed and thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm awakening my highest consciousness. I'm arriving. And it was so fun and exciting until I start to hear something out of the corner of the living room, and that's where I had an office and a guest bedroom, and it sounded like something was in my office. And I looked over to that area and I saw, plain as day, walking out of my office directly in front of me, and then a straight line right to my face, the tallest, and I had cathedral ceilings in this house, they're about 20 feet high, the tallest, maybe 15 foot tall black entity that it was like lanky and skinny and bones everywhere, and there was no face, and it was dark, and the whole room turned dark when it entered, and it came right in front of me, and it bent down, reminder, like 15 foot tall. I'm sitting on a couch, so it bent down, legs straight, bent over at the waist, and looked at me and just went, and it stayed there for what felt like hours. I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, I couldn't scream, I couldn't do anything. I was stuck in paralysis. And paralysis is not something that I was unaware of at this time. I was waking up every single night at 3 a.m. with either a panic attack or sleep paralysis, but I had never experienced this in broad daylight while I was awake in meditation. I was trying, my spirit was trying so hard to come out of my body, to run, to scream, to beg for help, to say something, maybe to scare this thing off, or just to get myself myself out of the house. I was trying so hard that when I finally broke out of this trance, my body jolted into the floor. I fell into the floor because every cell in my body was trying to move. As it broke off, as I fell into the floor, the demon was gone. I was no longer able to see in the spirit, and I ran out of my house. Now, because of the deep deception, I didn't think, oh, this is because of me. I was like, oh, my house is haunted. Awesome. I called one of my friends, Alexa, and I said, what in the world was this? What is going on? My house is haunted. And now Alexa was a Christian, so she knew. And she said, girl, you need to get all that stuff out of your house. You need to stop messing with that Ouija board stuff, that tarot card stuff, that spell book stuff, that crystal manifestation stuff, and you need to trash it, get rid of it, and you need to pray over your house. I also should mention that she was at my house just a couple days before this, anointing my home and praying, because that demon that my roommate saw in her room, it was for me. She had finally had enough and said, get it out. All of the stuff, get it out. And I wasn't even a Christian at this point. I was just calling her for advice, and she had had enough with the demons that I was allowing in my life and the life of others by fiddling with things that I had no business in. But thank God she had the confidence and the boldness to tell me, get it out, because after that, there was a lot of peace. After that, I started to see a little clearer. And after that, I truly started to question, who is Jesus? And why is he caring about me in this time where I'm so far away from him? Now, that doesn't mean that I stopped doing witchcraft, and it doesn't mean that the demonic encounters stopped, but it does mean that he began to step in my life. It does mean that he began to rescue me, he began to show me, he began to convict me, and he began to direct me. Now, whereas my walk with witchcraft was long from over, I still had months that I would continue to walk through things, to experience things, to be tormented by things, and to struggle with things because of the things that I was doing unknowingly. It was the first time that hell got a notification that they were about to lose me. My God is mighty to save, and the saving was coming.
Hey, you're doing it wrong, and, fix it. Your spirit guides don't want to leave you in this world ignorant, you know what I'm saying? So they try their best to teach you, and it's up to you to catch on, Common sense isn't common, though, folks. I'm just saying. But I believe that she just is talking about astral projecting, which many of us can do, that, you don't have to be a witch to astral project. I do it all the time. I've heard about other people doing it. It's just something that, you can do if you meditate for a while before you go to sleep. Put your mindset in a certain spot, and you can achieve astral projection. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you don't go too far, and make sure you always come back. And why is it when I'm talking about Jesus, my book decides to fall into my lap? Did you see that? Oh yeah, that scared me. I'm so overtired, you guys, so if this video is of me being a little unhinged, maybe that's why I keep going on these weird rants in this video, and I shouldn't have recorded when I'm really tired like this, but hey, maybe it'll make a good video. You never know. Never know. You might even like this one. I should do stand-up comedy. And I just want to say that's the end to this video today. Thank you for listening to me rant and talk. I love it. I want to do more vlogs. That's what my Patreon is supposed to be, and I haven't posted on there in a little bit because of the fact that my mom has been so sick. I was running back and forth there, but it's no excuse. You guys are also a priority in my life, okay? Do you understand that? You guys are a big priority to me. I love you with all my heart. I just want you to know that, okay? I'm going to go cuddle with my teddy bear and probably watch Ted. I love you guys. Mwah. You have a good night.
Bye. Have a great time.
It's caught in the crossfire.